I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about as of the time of this recording, and then uploading it. But YouTuber Kaiju Kim, and a few other YouTubers in the Godzilla community, have spoken out against behavior that's been happening in the Godzilla fandom for a long time now. This all includes racism, sexism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and child predators. That any sort of discussion is always brittled with hate and superiority complex, to say the least. And most of this stems from another YouTuber, Alyssa Goji Geek, who has for a year now stepped away from the fandom because of all this, and even more. Hearing what these people have said have made me want to come out and share my experiences as well, but to also share theirs with as many people as I can, even though this will only get 100 views from the algorithm. As long as a few people are able to take notice from this, I'm perfectly fine. I highly suggest going and watching the videos by all these YouTubers, especially Alyssa's. But the fact that she was preyed upon when she was a child, because she was a woman, was sent inappropriate messages by Godzilla fans, and as soon as she turned 18, all the messages stopped. It's absolutely deplorable. And to be honest, I've seen this type of behavior before myself. When I made my Godzilla vs. Kong reaction videos, I commented on a pinned comment about how it was a horrible experience being there. And the reason is because during that screening of it at G-Fest, there was a group of people that every time Millie Bobby Brown would show up, they would always cheer how much they love her and just keep hollering and hollering. And it just got annoying to really creepy real quick. And the fact that, if you looked it up, she was 14 when she was filming those scenes for GVK. She had just turned 18 that year as well. It was very, very uncomfortable being there, and I know a lot of people who were there share the same feeling as well. So I don't doubt that there's still people in this fandom that are hiding very well and in disguise, and that is what scares me the most, especially when it's going for a convention like this. Some of the people who have come out this week with all these videos have spoken out about how they were harassed and stalked around places. I myself know that type of behavior. Mutuals of mine on social media were once on a Reddit rant about how bad they were, and it led to people wanting to dox them. And presumably I was on that list as well. But one of the worst things that I've ever encountered was very early on when I became a fan. It was back in 2016, Shin Godzilla was released in Japan. I was following a YouTuber, ETN, Entertainment Talk Nation. He got a copy of it from someone, he watched it, and he didn't like the movie. So it wasn't in America at that point. But because he didn't like the movie, he was sent threats, including one that said that they were going to kill his wife and children. This type of behavior, and even minor occurrences of it, have only tenfold since then. People that just can't live with the fact that someone disagrees with them because they have a superiority complex, and they have to be right. And someone who disagrees with them that they've been following, of course they're obviously wrong. I've called out a lot of this behavior I just mentioned before on my social medias, and even here recently and in the past on my YouTube channel. This wasn't meant to be a long video, but one to be informative of what others are talking about, and I highly suggest that you go and watch their videos more on the subject because I don't have as much to say on the matter, as I'm lucky to have any sort of huge positive experience going into this whole thing. But as for the people that are happy that the Godzilla fandom is being split apart more and more, or are hiding out there hoping that nobody talks about this, because I know, because Kaiju Kim and Alyssa and many others have already said they don't want you talking about this. If you're any part of that, any sort of behavior that I just mentioned that's so despicable, you're not a real Godzilla fan. You're not worth talking to. You don't have any best intentions with the fandom at heart. And as for the people who say that they can't really do anything because this is just any other fandom, if you see someone, like at a convention, which this stuff does happen, and you see them being harassed, don't let these predators or disgusting losers who have no life, who waste their time hours on hours of end online, trying to attack women in this fandom or any other person who may have a different faith or belief or identity. You're a complete embarrassment if you do that sort of thing. And to those who are only calling this out vaguely, you're not helping in the situation. I know you're popular and all, and want to make sure that there's no controversy with other people in the fandom, but don't halfway it. When a horrible video came out earlier this year that had so much misinformation, so much terrible statements, and discrediting any hard work put into everything, there were so many people that banded together to call that person out. You probably know who I'm talking about. An outsider trying to get a few bucks off of the name Godzilla, which he admitted to. If we can change to make at least one person feel better and safer in this community, then we're only seeing positive growth from here. I'm not saying you should go out of your way to police it. If you see someone on the side of the road getting physically assaulted by people, are you just going to walk away? Or are you going to do something and give them some sort of help?